That's all I heard. Plantation, white woman having a wedding. Sold. Hey, welcome back to my channel. Look at me. I'm in the same spot this time. Bookmas is winding down. We're getting to the finish line. Today, I thought I would talk about the 24 books that I would like to read in 2024. Y'all know me by now. I love a good list. I have 3 categories, one with 4 books and then 2 with 10 books each. I'm gonna go through the first set. As always, my book jar. I am a stickler to sticking. Don't even know if that makes sense, but I love sticking to my book jar. I won't always just like, I want to read The King is Dead. No, I need to wait until I pick it out of my book jar. I only wanted to do about 4 books because, again, what are the chances of me picking it? I don't know how many books out of my book jar I'm going to pick next year. I picked a good bit if you saw my video from yesterday. 7 Days in June. Everybody and their mama didn't read this book. Everybody and their mama but me. Why is that? Well, I know why, because I didn't pick it out the jar. So I really would love to pick this out the jar. Again, I'm not going to go in depth about these books because I don't really know nothing about them. I do, but I don't. Allegedly, things that I hear from other people, from other readers, is that people honestly can't really decide between allegedly or Monday's Not Coming as their favorite. Those are the 2 main books that I hear are people's favorites. Specifically this one, especially with some of my mutuals. This is like their all-time favorite book. So I need to read it. I'm just so scared because if I remember correctly, like it sounds like it's going to be a black and white thing. And that always just makes me mad when I read it. I'm pretty sure she's a black woman and she's being accused of killing a white baby. You see what I mean? I'm scared to read it. Amari and the Great Game by B.B. Alston. I read Amari and the Night Brothers, I think when it came out. And it's one of my favorite books of all time. I would love to get to this one. I still kind of remember a little bit of the first book, so I'm so excited. I think the best way to describe this is like a children's version of Men in Black. My last one, I honestly debated on which one to pick for this, but we're going to go with Promise Boys. I feel like I've never really read a thriller written by a man with male characters or like boys at the center of the plot. You know what I mean? It's almost like when I think of Disney Channel. Most Disney Channel shows centered around girls. But we also got shows like Even Stevens. It was a family, but Shia LaBeouf's character was like the main character. And then we had Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and On Deck, which I didn't really like that one. I preferred Sweet Life. You know, so we kind of had those too, but you can't compare that to having Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven, Wizards, Hannah Montana. You know, I could go on and on with girl-centered TV shows or on Disney. And so I'm excited to read this because, again, I think this is like boy-centered. I think it's an all-boys school. Next, we're going to go through my list of books by authors who I've read before. So I just want to read some more of their books. Number 1 is A Dish Best Served Hot. This is by Natalie Kanya. I read A Proposal They Can't Refuse this year. It came out last year. I love that book so much. It's in the same series, I guess. It's separate characters. Learn to Love You. I did read a book by her that was co-authored, A Beautiful Obsession. It's by her and someone else. I don't remember who. I enjoyed it. It's a spicy hockey romance, and he's a serial unaliver. I would love to read this one because I've heard it's really great. I'm just so nervous because I've heard it's super spicy, but it has animated characters on the cover, and I hate spicy covers. Animated characters on covers that are spicy. I hate it. I don't like it. An Island Princess Starts a Scandal. It is historical fiction. Well, it's a historical romance. I don't really read historical anything. I don't even know if I've read technically a historical romance. I do have one. Queen Bee. I'm kind of nervous, but it's sapphic and I heard it's really good. Obviously, all these books I've heard are just great. Blue by M. Monique. I hear all the time how people love this book called Blue or named Blue. So I really want to get to it. This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. Come on now. I read Before I Let Go. Duh. That's actually going to be my second book of hers. I haven't read her Shot Clock, Long Shot books. That series, I think it's like a trilogy. I've been so hesitant to read it because I've heard like it's just so, like it tears you up on the inside. It's like an emotional read. So I'm glad I never started with that of hers. I'm glad I'm starting with like her newer stuff first. But I told myself I wasn't going to read those books, but I think I do. For the purpose of this video and this list, we're going to go with This Could Be Us. Butterfly by Ashley Antoinette. I read Ethic and Moth to a Flame. Why do I feel the need to grab the books? I've been putting off reading the Butterfly series because I know it's going to focus more on Morgan. But if you've read the Ethic series, you know, and if you've seen some of my videos on TikTok, you know I don't mess with Morgan. Me and her don't get along, okay? So I don't want to read a series where she's kind of the main focus. What Are the Odds by R.M. Virtues. I was supposed to change this to Drag Me Up, I believe it's called, but honestly any R.M. Virtues book. But I saw on I saw on Goodreads this book and I was like, I haven't really heard of this one by him yet. Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for something murders, I think. I didn't write down the whole name on here. I'm obsessed with Jessie Sutanto. I don't know if you've watched all the other videos in the series. I have an obsession with Jessie. And the funny thing is, to me at least, she's an okay writer. Like it's not like I've given these books 5 stars. That's the crazy thing. So I keep having to tell myself, do not buy her books. Get them from the library because you know you more than likely gonna give it like a 3. I truly do try to buy books that I think are gonna be 5s and 4s, not 3s. I get it right sometimes. I'll say most of the time I get it right. Sometimes I don't. I think these were all 3s with the exception of Dial A for Aunties. Taken to Araxia. Come on now. I can't tell you how many times I've put this book on a list somewhere and I still haven't gotten to it. I came so close to reading it and then I psyched myself out. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna read this one first. I actually did end up reading a book by Elizabeth Stevens. I ended up reading Dark City Omega. I really enjoyed it. The spice was spicing, okay? So that was, I think it's like an Omega book. I really don't know anything about that. I don't know what that means. Last book, I had to put in a Kimberly Brown book in here, okay? Tethered Love. I honestly could have picked any book, but I just got it. She had it for free. I guess for Black Friday or something. So I went ahead and downloaded that one. Listen, I love Kimberly Brown. She's literally one of my favorite spicy, like, erotica writers. She's up there. She's right there. My 10 books from authors who I've never read before. Number 1, Restore Me by J.L. Sears. I've never read it. It's because, honestly, I just made a video. Of course, I have to tell a story. I just made a video yesterday. Well, for me, it was yesterday. For y'all, who knows? Probably a week ago. And I was saying how anytime Black Book Talk recommends me a book, I'm going to immediately go and read it. Because what happens is, I didn't want the video to come off as, oh, like, this is my first time on Black Book Talk. Like, no, I do read them. But there are certain books that I associate with Black Book Talk. And for some reason, a lot of the ones that I see they're romances, but they're more on the emotional side. So I always put them on the back burner. And I never get to them fast. But the crazy thing is, when I do get to them, they're always like 5 stars. Moth to a Flame, the Ethic series. I put them on hold for so long because I was so scared to read them because, I mean, everyone's talking about like I was sliding down the wall, tears everywhere. I'm not that excited to read that. I don't want to be sliding down the wall. But guess what? I did, and I loved it. Luca by Gray Huffington. I'm always hearing about this. The Trouble with Hating You. Honestly, I love the cover. The only problem is my library, because this series has a second book, so I guess a duet. I don't know if they're getting more books. And my library has the second book, but doesn't have the first book. So I need to fill out the form for them to get it, the request form. But I definitely want to get to that soon. Yours for Now. This is a book that I just found a couple of weeks ago. I think right before the Goodreads Choice Awards came out. I have recently been hearing about it. Nobody to Love You Better. Listen, out of nowhere, I started seeing a bunch of my mutuals post about this book. I think 3 of them. 3 is a lot to me. Just posting about this book and I'm like, well, what is this? Like, y'all convinced me. Blizzard Told the Sun. This is an indigenous romance. I really don't read a ton of indigenous authors, but I think also sometimes I don't realize that they are. So R.M. Virtues, he is multiracial, is that the word? Mixed? Multiracial? Not multiracial. Multiracial. I don't know. But he is black and indigenous, and I also believe Latinx. I always talk about him being black, and I forget that he is also indigenous. So I think sometimes like I'm not truly paying attention. Scarlett St. Clair, I found out, is indigenous as well, so I definitely want to check out their books. Blizzard Told the Sun is one that I found because I was on the hunt for indigenous representation in some books. All the right notes. This is, I believe, an MM romance written by a man. Just don't really read a ton of books written by men. I used to read MM a lot. I've kind of put it on hold this year, honestly. I haven't really read a ton because I think I've been waiting to read one by an actual like gay man. You know what I mean? I feel like I just read a bunch by like women. Now I don't know their sexuality, so I won't mention that necessarily. Because when you think about it, why is it so comfortable with reading an MM romance written by a straight woman when I know for a fact I wouldn't read a sapphic romance written by a straight man? I honestly would never do that. When the Reckoning Comes. I've been wanting to read this for so long now. It is, I believe, a white woman who's getting married on a plantation. Something like that. And like the spirits or ancestors gonna be after her. I don't know. But that's all I heard. Plantation, white woman having a wedding. Sold. Arsenic and Adobo. I'm a sucker for cozy mysteries that involve food. And I haven't even read a bunch. The one that I remember is A Deadly Inside Scoop by Abby Collette. This is a black cozy mystery. And it involves an ice cream shop. But I think I always hesitate because I really don't think I'm going to love it. A Deadly Inside Scoop, I believe I gave a 3. Yeah, I gave it a 3. So this one, I'm not expecting to love it, but I really want to read it. And then my last book, I struggled with what to put here. I said 24 books in 2024, so I'm going to give you 24 and not 25. Blood Debts. This is a YA fantasy. Actually, I believe set here in Louisiana. I don't really like reading books that's set here because it's never done well. I really want to read it. I've been so close to buying it, but it's like it's a YA fantasy at that, and I don't like YA fantasies. I've read it. If I'm gonna read a fantasy, I do prefer either middle grade because I understand what's going on, or adult because 9 times out of 10 it's more than likely gonna be spicy. Ooh, my. YA fantasy on the other hand, I don't like that too much. That's it for this video. These were the 24 books that I would like to read in 2024. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you see some that you might want to read as well and add to your list for next year. Or you may have read some of these. If you have, drop it down in the comments and let me know what's up. Should I take some of these off? Bye! Look, this is how we're ending the video. Okay, let's do my thumbnail. Okay, I think I'm just, okay, I'm gonna do it both ways because I don't know how this is gonna show up. Should I do it? Is it this or this? We're gonna do both. Can you see?